There are a lot of different ways that you can do your handrails. Today we're going to be working with a very simple system, just 2x4 railings and plates along with 2x2 pickets. Relatively simple, easy to follow. So when we start to install, make sure you follow a couple steps because you can use this same method on your exterior deck or screen porch, either or. Simple to build. Let's just do it 3 inches. Give me one, and you take 2 and put it over there. I'll do that, even though it's a little higher than I usually like to come off the ground 4 inches, but we got this flat one across the bottom that'll still keep our spacing fine. So this one goes right here. Let's just get the prettiest side on the inside, which is this. Right there, buddy. Give me my next 2, pimpin'. And I'm probably gonna screw a bunch of this off. Go right there, right on top. Just a simple rail system. Now we went 36 inches from the floor to the top of the vertically installed 2x4. And then after that, we just placed another one on top. Now you're more than welcome to use a 1x6 here, and we may even end up still doing that later on. But for now, we just like to use the same size board that matches up with exactly the width of our post. And that's just to not create any weird edges or anything like that. And we're just gonna tack this because I wanna use some screws on for the most part. 5/16 up top. So we can start at the bottom. And we're gonna do the same exact thing as we started with on the other side. Now this bottom board, its main purpose is a place to start the screen. So we're gonna install this board directly to the subfloor. This board here will actually have the screen applied to it from the outside and be a place where our base and cap system for the screen can be screwed down. So we're just toenailing it directly into our 4x4 post. And we're cutting these kind of tight because this wood, even though it is a #1 grade and it has been dried, it still will get a little teeny bit smaller through the drying out process. I do not like those stickers at all. I'll tell you what, I'll be glad when Wawa gets their grilled chicken back. I can't eat my grilled chicken salad. Golly, man, that grilled chicken salad is so good. And see, Wawa, I said, well, I noticed there was no grilled chicken. I was like, guys, how are you gonna sell lunch if you don't have grilled chicken? I was like, I'm not putting fried chicken on my salad. Like, I can't even think of a sauce that would go good with it besides ranch. And I really wanted balsamic vinaigrette. And I was just like, well, he's like, they're gonna bring it back and very, very soon. So it was all good. Couple weeks go by, boom, grilled chicken's back. And I'm like, all right, cool. Give me another salad. Next week, grilled chicken's gone. And I'm like, guys, what happened to the grilled chicken? He was like, yeah, there was metal in the original. They found metals in the chicken, and they tried to bring it back, but then they discontinued it again, I think for the same reason. So I done ate it again. We're gonna router some of these edges up, and we'll do that down the handrails, down the stairs as well, just to give a nice little finish with the router later on. And clean these up and then just stain them. Now, one key factor, guys, I know a lot of us try to do wood protection and stain, is you got to let the wood dry out properly before you apply the stain. Now, on this screen porch area, we are gonna actually be installing the stain on the outer portion where the screen goes, while leaving the inside open for the time being, so it'll be able to dry out thoroughly, and we'll come back in about a month or 2 and actually apply the stain in 2 coats. I think it's too tight when you have to dramatically beat the wood into place. If you can give them a little light tap and get it to go in there, that's fine. But if you're literally just giving it a good whack or two, that's probably too tight. And especially if you're using this waffle hammer out, where, like I said, this deck is a finished product, so what you see is what's going to be visible to everybody. And I don't want to put a whole bunch of waffle head marks into my wood. It's better just, we're going to trim that thing up a 16th, see if it does a little bit better. What we're going to do here at the top is basically make something that looks like a little baby window. So we're going to put a little stud on each side. Then we're going to find our exact center. Plop that up there. Tack it off nice, so. All right, so there you go. This is called just a basic little window frame. It kind of makes you look like you have a window in here, even though it's really not. It's just a board we add to the top that gives the screen a place to contact here and here to not have to span all the way down from the floor all the way up to the ceiling. Now, you're more than welcome to do that, but I tend to find that with the smaller sections, the tighter the screen stays. So, especially if you're using nylon. If you're using nylon screen and you try to travel over an 8-foot span, it has, you can literally push that screen far out before this gets too tight and doesn't go out any further. With these tighter sections, you can get that screen looking really, really, really nice. We ought to get up and have a good fishing trip one day, but we need a weekend where it's just guy weekend.
This weekend it's probably gonna rain.
No, it can't be this weekend. I need to be after baseball season. I want to go out on a Saturday so that we're out during Saturday and we fish into Saturday night. Eating out there, maybe we don't even take no food. Maybe we just catch fish and eat it. Yeah, we can take some snacks or whatever. To frame in the screen door, we're going to essentially make a very similar piece to what we did over the window areas. Our doors come naturally, or not naturally. Most doors on average are made at 80 inches, which is 6'8". Even your door slabs on your interior doors and your exterior doors, the actual slab of the door is 6'8", which is a standard measurement so people can make and produce accessories for whatever style door. So I will give myself a little bit of play, about 80 1/4, 80 3/8, and I'll frame my portion down to that height. And once we install the hinges, which on this screen door we'll be doing spring-loaded hinges with an interior spring as well, just to give us some good closing power. And we'll frame our chicken ladder or window framing down to about 3/8 of an inch from the top of the door so that we can pick the door up a little bit off of the ground so it'll swing freely. And then once the door is closed perfectly flush, I'll mark the inside of the frame and we'll install what they call a door stop. And you can make that out of pretty much any piece of wood that you have available. We're probably going to use some extra leftover decking boards. And we'll just install those there and tack those in with a trim nail or trim gun or screws, whatever you have available. And the door will close against that stop with the spring-loaded hinges and keep a nice tight seal there not to let any bugs in. When you're looking for layout on your 2x2 pickets, measure the distance of the area that you're covering. In this case right here, we have 74 5/8. 37 5/16 will be our center. So you run right there, mark 37 5/16, just a small little mark. Remember that this is finished. And once we get our center, we'll slide over about 3/4 of an inch. And the reason we're doing 3/4 is because our pickets are exactly 1.5 inches wide. So from the center, if the very first picket will be perfectly centered, we'll need to mark 3/4 of an inch to see the edge. And once we have that mark, we'll place a small X forward so the guys know which direction to go. Now, once we have that center picket installed, we're simply going to put a 2x4 spacer nice and tight to that 2x2 and install the next 2x2 directly tight to that 2x4 as well. And then after that, remove the 2x4, place it against that 2x2, and that process continues until you have less than 4 inches to the end of your post. Now you can put these pickets on with screws or nails. Just screws tend to work so much better. And I like screws because you only have to put one of them into the picket on the upper side and one on the lower side. Here, Poop, get this ahead of me. Here, get it right there and I'll screw. Yeah, and when you put 2 nails, a lot of times these small pickets tend to split. Yeah, just take a 2x4 in there, so that way we can guarantee that our spacing is not bigger than 4 inches, which is our current building code that we're in. Now for each 6-foot section of rail, you have approximately 13 to 15 pickets. And on 8-foot sections, you have about 18 to 20. So that'll give us a good idea how many to order with the deck package. And I also do not flush my pickets up to the bottom of the 2x4. And I do that so that if there is any inconsistency, whether it be 1/8 or whatnot, it'll be lost in the overhang. Whereas if you cut it perfectly flush with the edge of the 2x4 itself, and if there was any variance, this eliminates all of that from being an issue. All right, on the very end here, if we did not put a picket, we would have a space greater than 4 inches. So we're going to install a picket right here against the rail. And although we can't keep our 3.5-inch spacing, we're about 3 5/8. So that's pretty decent to be the same as everywhere else. But if we didn't put anything there, we would be more than 4 inches and would not pass code in our area. It was a good day, great temperature. I wish this would stay this way all year long. We made some good progress today. Make sure you guys pay attention to that rail system. It's, like I said, it's not the most cosmetically beautiful, but it's very, very efficient dollar-wise, and stained up and screened up. It looks really, really nice. We'll come back at you tomorrow. See you later. If at first you don't succeed, try and try again, because there is nothing in life that comes easy. And this journey to become our own builder and build our own stuff is just not easy. I've had some major ups and downs, some dark moments and some scary moments and some tough moments. And then there's been some really good moments. And I know in my faith that everything is going to turn out really good, but easy it has not been. I ain't gonna lie to you. But we will make it one way or the other. I'm gonna keep one foot in front of the other until we get to the other side of the road.